What is happening with our police force? I'm Blaine Stewart. News 3 is going in depth, digging into the shortage of officers in Hampton Roads. I just had a frank conversation with Norfolk's former police chief about the state of policing, why so many have left police work, and what it's going to take to build the force back up. There is a reason Larry Boone first put on a police uniform 33 years ago.
You know, it's funny. Where I grew up, we did not like police. We didn't have any, let's use this phrase, officer friendlies. That just did not exist in my community. And because of how I was treated, I wanted to be a positive role model that wore a uniform.
The retired Norfolk police chief, now our WTKR crime analyst, sat down to talk with me about the shrinking number of Americans who want to serve in law enforcement and how the job of policing is changing before our eyes. What kind of impact does that have?
Well, it impacts each city differently because each city has its own challenges and each city has its own vacancy rate. I think right now Norfolk is teetering on 300 vacancies. And the challenges that creates for a city like Richmond, Norfolk, Newport News, urban settings, call for service is very challenging to manage, particularly when you are that short-staffed. And of course, when you don't have the proper staffing, there are some crime issues that you just cannot address. It's impossible to do more with less.
Because something has to give at that point. If you're putting more officers on the street to make up for the lack there, then office staff, investigations, that might suffer, right?
Yeah, so you find yourself going almost two-dimensional, okay? And what I mean by that, you gotta have folks in patrol. Those are the folks that go to calls for services. And you gotta have folks that investigate certain crimes, and those are the folks that are in the detective division. You may want to do away with some of your specialty units, but that's problematic. And what I mean by specialty units, I'm talking about K9, licensed narcotics, things of that nature, because a lot of folks join the police department because they want to do that cool stuff, but when the cool stuff does not exist anymore, they go to other agencies. So it's an art in terms of, okay, where do you add, where do you take away from? Nonetheless, it's still a problem.
When we look at trying to plug that and then eventually rebuild the force, that's not something that happens overnight. That's a long process.
That is an extremely long process. If you look at it like this, each academy, and I'm speaking about Norfolk, you can have anywhere from 20 to 30 individuals, okay? Norfolk's a very challenging police department. You're not going to graduate everyone. So when you only plug it in the pipe hole about 15 to 20 officers per 6 months, okay, that's a lot of ground to cover. You're looking at a 5 to 6 year, perhaps a little longer process to getting fully staffed.
5 or 6 years to stop the bleeding, to fill that deepening hole. I asked for numbers from each of the 7 cities' police departments. Those figures show across Hampton Roads, we are down nearly 400 officers total. Norfolk alone is short more than 250, leaving the department only about 70% staffed. How difficult is recruiting in the police business these days?
So let's contrast it to during my era. When I joined the police department, I went over here to the Norfolk Arena. Used to be over there, where Harrison Opera House is now. There were 700 plus people there for 40 positions. Okay. Nowadays, if we did a recruiting event, you may have 10 people show up. Okay, and that's just where we are as a profession. This generation doesn't embrace the idea of law enforcement. I'm not saying they don't embrace the idea of public servants, because they are certainly public servant minded. When you look at departments, when they are doing their marketing for recruitment, the data shows that when you show folks that are serving the community, and I'm talking about videos that show officers serving the community, helping people, compared to the cool stuff, i.e. people in SWAT clothing and K9, those don't really appeal to this generation. It did to my generation, which is why we had fairly no issues with recruiting. This generation, on the heels of George Floyd and everything else that has happened in this nation, they just don't embrace the concept of becoming law enforcement.
No justice! No peace! We shut it down!
I want to touch on that because it's obvious that in the summer of 2020, you know, aside from the pandemic we had going on, the world shifted its attention on social justice. We saw protests in every major city, including down Granby Street here in Norfolk. I know you were out there talking to a lot of the protesters. What did that summer do to change policing?
It changed policing to a point that we'll never go back to where we were prior to that George Floyd event. What you have now is the issue with accountability. Everybody is being held accountable now, okay? And with that, you have officers, particularly in an urban city, because in an urban city, you're going to run into things that will require you to utilize your training. Doesn't look good, okay? It's one of those awful but lawful type things. But the way society is hardwired now, that officer, he or she may say, well, I'll go into this community, adhere to my training, and I'm being recorded. It doesn't look good, and now I'm being called on the carpet by city officials or the chief of police, et cetera. I'd rather do something different. So that piece of transparency, okay, that's now is really being adhered to by the departments across the nation, and accountability, you have some folks aren't comfortable with that. When I say some folks, I'm talking about law enforcement officers, which is why that summer you saw resignations go up, retirements go up, terminations go up. It's created a whole new paradigm in this profession. Now departments are going to have to do more with less, and I hate saying that phrase because it doesn't make sense to me. It's almost impossible, but that's the reality. That's where we are right now.
When you were listening to the crowds in 2020, what were they telling you they wanted in a police department?
So one of the things that came up constantly during the protests was addressing police brutality. That was something that I heard over and over and over and over and over. In addition to that, they wanted to see the data surrounding use of force. Okay. Historically, Norfolk had never shown that information or made it available to the community. And one of the outcomes from the social unrest is we now have a use of force dashboard where citizens can go online and take a look at an incident. And the incident will show the type of force used, the race of the suspect, the race of the officer, the location, time and date, et cetera, et cetera. So that was very beneficial. The other piece that came out of the George Floyd police reform movement is this transparency piece. You're having more citizen review boards established, more citizen review boards established with teeth. Those are some of the things that have changed this profession to the point that some of the yahoos that we used to get, the cowboys, will never come back. The bulk, the majority of the women and men of this profession come to work every day and try to do the very best they can and treat people with dignity and respect. But I would be remiss if I said all of them did. That's just not the reality.
The reality for most officers, Larry Boone tells me, is police work in 2022 is still a calling to serve. One thing that hasn't changed from when he started in 1989.
It's a sacrifice in terms of you're going to miss birthdays, you're going to miss celebrations, you're going to be working odd hours. You know, it impacts your mental health, your physical health greatly. You know, you go to work and you never know what's on the other side of that call. You know, for the most part, you know, your day-to-day activity is uneventful. But you do and you shall have those incidents where things go south and it's going to take a toll on your body. Again, you know, it's a rewarding profession when you do everything right and everything falls into place. and you have the support of your community and your local government, it can be a very rewarding profession. And we're just going through a really difficult time right now, and it's going to take some time to recover.
Would you do it all over again?
Would I? Yes.
Our team of anchors and reporters is focused on not only bringing you the current picture of crime in your neighborhood, but also what police and community leaders are doing to fight it. You can watch all of our original reporting when you click the Crime Solutions button right at the top of WTKR.com. I'm Blaine Stewart, News 3.